Hi Superstars, thanks so much for spending this time with me today. I'm Debbie Starr, the writer of In the Waiting, which is a blog I created on DebbieRStarr.com. It's where I share my story of going from doing movie marathons to running half marathons. And today I'm going to chat with you about what I learned when I watched the movie Forrest Gump. So, years ago, Superstars, I was watching the movie Forrest Gump with my family when it first came out. So I was probably like, I don't know, 14, 15. And as I was watching the show with my family, when it got to the point of Forrest Gump having to have braces on his legs in order to walk, my dad said, yeah, Debbie used to have those on her legs when she was little. And I just laughed it off like, yeah, haha. Thought he was joking. And he said, no, seriously, Debbie, you did. And I said, what? So it's like, okay, wait a minute, you got to tell me the story, because how did I not know that I had braces on my legs? I don't even remember having braces on my legs. Well, my dad then told me the story of how when I was born breech, feet first, and through labor, my hip got popped out. And so in order for it to heal in place, I had to wear braces on my legs for the first, like, I don't know, I still to this day don't even know if it was like 6 or 8 months, but anyways, and so Dad was telling me how, you know, it was hard to change diapers and keep you still and all that stuff, but it was basically to keep that socket in place so that it could heal up. So I, of course, was completely shocked, could not believe that I ever had braces when I was a kid on my hip. And I totally kind of forgot about this whole story until just a little bit ago. Like, I was out running and listening to music. Of course, the music was from the soundtrack, and then it got my mind thinking about the movie. And then all of a sudden, God kind of brought that story to my mind and reminded me of how much healing that my body has gone through, and how it's amazing. It's an awesome thing that I'm running half marathons now, and how the healing that God has taken place in my body, and how so many times I've heard from different people give different. Now, I'm not a doctor, so obviously always listen to your doctor, but I've heard so many people give different excuses of why they can't run. That they have arthritis, or they've had this problem, or it's bad on your knees or your joints or whatever. Well, if you do the research, you'll find out that it's better for your joints to keep moving and to keep going. And I am totally here to tell you that not only did that happen to me when I was little with the braces on my hip, but also fast forward years later, I ended up having to go to a chiropractor a couple years ago, because when I first started working out, I was having all these lower back pains and lower back spasms. So every time I went to the doctor, basically they just was giving me pain meds and said, chill out, don't work out as hard anymore, which was totally defeating the purpose of what I was trying to do. So God led me to this awesome chiropractor who was able to heal my body naturally through different adjustments. And he also taught me about how my back alignment was out. And it had been out because of the fact that I had fatigued so many muscles. There was muscles that was completely weak. And when I actually looked at the x-rays, it was actually really sad, because you could see where my upper body and my neck and everything was like all hunched over. And it almost just kind of shows you like a visual of like how I felt defeated, and I was completely hunched over and, defeated and weak. And how then through chiropractic care, and then also he taught me different exercises and different things to do to strengthen those weakened muscles in my neck and my back and my shoulders and things like that, and in my lower back. Again, when we were looking at those x-rays, he found, because I was telling him that my right hip always hurt more than the other side. And so I explained to him about, I had the little braces when I was a kid. Do you think that has anything to do with it? And he said, no, not really. But he said, but I do see on your x-ray that you are starting to have the beginning stages of arthritis in that right hip. And so I was like, what? No way, I'm way too young to have this. And so this was over 3 years ago, when I first started working out, before I even got into running, that at that point, I was barely starting to walk and run. But anyways, he had done marathons. And so he shared with me about how it was a good thing to get going. Don't use it as an excuse to just sit around. That the more you move those joints and the more you get moving, then the better it is. And especially for arthritis. A lot of times people use the excuse and say, oh, I have arthritis, I can't do this anymore, it's too stiff or whatever. Yeah, it hurts. In the first beginnings of my training, and my hip did bother me when I first started running, but now here it is 5 half marathons later, and I run all the time with my hip, and it doesn't, I'm able to run half marathons, okay? So I'm just here to share with you and encourage you that no matter where you started, no matter what has happened in the in-between, because I had found out that basically for years I had leaned over a shampoo bowl and hunched over, and I was overweight at the time, put a lot of extra weight on that right hip, and I would stand there for 5 to 7 minutes at a time as I would massage people's heads when I was doing shampoo. That put a lot of extra stress on that right hip. However, even though it was weak, I was able to learn exercises and learn stretches and learn how to take care of those muscles, because basically your bones are kind of stupid. They just go wherever your muscles and your ligaments tell it to. You know, see, God created all this awesomeness in our body for a reason. Those muscles and all of those ligaments and everything like that has a reason or purpose to keep your body moving, to keep you going. So he taught me how to strengthen those muscles, so that way I was able to hold in my adjustments when I would get my adjustments. And when I first started going to chiropractic care, I did go quite frequently, but I could totally tell the difference of when I needed to go and when I didn't. And now that I'm basically in healed mode, I go only every once in a while just as a maintenance. It's not that I have to go anymore. I go more as a maintenance. And so anyways, I'm just here to tell you, superstars, no matter where you started, no matter what happened in between, don't use it as an excuse. Don't use that as a way to count you out of what God has prepared and planned for you. Because I mean, I look at that, and when I was running and I was thinking about that, I was like, wow, you know, here I had that incident happen when I was a kid with the braces on my leg that I totally forgot about. And then that is situation that went on with my hip. Both times I could have easily used it as an excuse of why I can't run. You know, because I hear that from so many people when they first hear, oh, you're doing great, you're losing weight, what are you doing, you're running? Oh, I can't run. It comes from so many different people. And so I'm just here to tell you, obviously I'm not a doctor. Do listen to your doctor, whatever he says, because I know everybody's body are different. But even if you can't run, you can swim, you can walk. There's something that you can do to get your body moving and to get your body stronger and to strengthen yourself up to where you don't have to remain wherever you're at. So anyways, for fun superstars, I thought I would pull these out because my mom actually found these, and these are the little braces. Can you believe it? My mom is like a total pack rat. She keeps everything, but I guess that's where I kind of get it from too for my little kids. But I keep a lot of their schoolwork and stuff. But anyways, I don't even know how these contraptions worked, but basically these held my little legs together as my hips healed when I was a kid, and these are my Forrest Gump braces. So anyways, I am so thankful though that God has healed me and he continues to heal me. And it's just another encouraging thing to remember of where I started and what the devil tried to use to take me out, even from birth, that now I know that God has got an awesome, amazing, wonderful plans for my life. And I know that it's not just for me. I know it's also to share it with all you superstars. So superstars, I love you. I hope you're having a great week. And my prayer always for you is that you will be patient and make healthy choices while you're in the waiting.